On your side, NBC12 News at 11 starts with breaking news.
And breaking right now at 11, the sun is starting to rise in Ukraine on what is now day 2 of attacks by Russian forces. It's now 6 a.m. in Kyiv, but it was just after 3 a.m. when the sounds of explosions once again jolted the capital.
You are taking a live look at Kyiv, where there are no signs of people. A very drastically different picture than what we saw this same time last night. Over the course of 24 hours, worlds and lives have changed for the people of Ukraine. Dozens of Russian attacks across the country have cost more than 100 people their lives as they work to defend their home.
Tonight, the U.S., along with European and NATO allies, issuing new rounds of harsh sanctions on Russia in response. Alice Barr has more tonight from our nation's capital.
For a second straight night, Ukraine rocked by violence as Russia advances the largest European invasion since World War II. President Biden slamming Russian President Vladimir Putin for launching what he called a brutal, unjustified, and premeditated attack, promising Russia will pay.
Putin will be a pariah on the international stage.
The president laying out stiff new sanctions in coordination with top allies.
We will limit Russia's ability to do business in dollars, euros, pounds, and yen.
President Biden under pressure to unleash even harsher measures to cut Russia off from the global economy, though it's unclear if any sanctions could throw Putin off course.
This is something he was planning all along.
The U.S. estimates Russia has already fired more than 160 missiles into Ukraine, largely hitting military targets across the country. Ukraine's president says more than 130 soldiers were killed today, hundreds more injured. And amid reports of civilian casualties, families are scrambling to get underground or out of the country.
To see this happening to the country is just devastating.
The U.S. believes Russia is trying to replace Ukraine's pro-Western government. President Volodymyr Zelensky asking which countries are ready to fight with Ukraine. President Biden reinforcing American troops will not, though he ordered 7,000 more to Germany to defend NATO allies.
Vladimir Putin will not cross a NATO border the way he's gone across this Ukrainian border.
Tonight, the world is rallying to support Ukraine. Thousands in Russia even taking the risk to condemn their own president's war. President Biden today promised to protect Americans from possible Russian cyber attacks and from the even higher spike in gas and food prices the crisis could bring. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, thank you, Alice. Well, Putin's decision to launch a full-scale invasion into Ukraine is not one that landed well with thousands of Russians. In Moscow and St. Petersburg, protesters taking to the streets to denounce their president's choice. At last check, we were told that more than 1,000 people were arrested in Moscow alone. Protesters carried signs and chanted "No to war." Russian police were also out in droves dressed in riot gear. Now, demonstrations without a permit are illegal in Russia, but individual single-person protests are allowed.
And take a look at these new images tonight. We are getting our first glimpse of the destruction being inflicted upon Ukraine. These satellite images show the aftermath of Russian military strikes on a Ukrainian airbase. You can see where an entire stretch of the landing strip is just completely wiped out. Back here at home, Virginia lawmakers are backing President Biden's actions to criticize Putin's decision to invade Ukraine and hit them hard with new sanctions. Senator Mark Warner saying the U.S. and NATO allies must stand united.
Congress is united that we will apply to this with both standing firm by NATO, continuing to provide armaments to the Ukrainians to defend themselves. And boy, oh boy, Russia's bit off more, I think, than it knows what it can chew on. An economy where Russia has more control over energy, over greater power than it has right now, is not good for the American people economically or our notion of supporting democracies around the world.
Warner says imposing sanctions even for the next 24 to 48 hours and keeping troops out of Ukraine for as long as possible is the way to go.
And it's not just members of the Senate who feel this way. Representative Morgan Griffith also believes in the power of sanctions, as long as the U.S. stays strong.
We need to come in with everything we've got We need to come in hard. We need to come in strong. We need to cut off everything we can from the Russian economy. Their economy is not that great. If we can cripple their economy, Putin will have no choice but to leave.
Well, Griffith says the U.S. needs to hold out on sanctions for at least 2 to 3 months. Well, Russia's economy not the only one taking a hit. Here at home, those attacks hitting gas prices pretty hard. Crude oil barrels are now selling for more than $100 a barrel, the highest that it's been since 2014. Inflation also a major concern tonight. Plus, experts believe that we will also see costs go up for groceries, especially wheat and corn, which are both exports from Russia and Ukraine. It is worth noting tonight that despite a roller coaster of ups and downs, today the stock market did end in gains. The Dow at one point was down as much as 600 points, but as you can see here, it ended the day 92 points up. Meantime, stocks in Asia and parts of Europe plunged.
Ukrainians here in Richmond have spent all day and night contacting their loved ones back home. They say they worry that the U.S. imposing sanctions won't be enough when it comes to stopping Russian troops. Igor Kadrovsky says he's been calling his family every 15 minutes, but he says his wife's family is still trying to find their way to safety.
They tried to escape from the city to the village area. And they then come back because all roads full of crowd people.
Without the U.S. military invasion, this is impossible.
Still, I believe in negotiation.
Despite all of these recent events, Igor says they are trying to remain optimistic as they move forward. The attacks unfolding in Ukraine continue to develop and change every minute, so be sure to stay up to date with the latest breaking news developments by downloading the NBC12 app. It's free in the App Store and Google Play. We will push out new details as soon as we learn them, even when we're off the air.
Well, turning now to our forecast, a live check at the visibility map tonight, where we are watching for fog to develop overnight. Meantime, it is cold, but another warm-up is expected. Meteorologist Megan Wise joining us tonight. So, Megan, how is the morning commute looking with this fog issue?
Yeah, we're really going to have to pay close attention to the overnight time frame where we're already starting to see the fog develop. Nothing, though, that's going to slow you down on the roads at this point. But as we go into the early morning time frame, could have some reduced visibilities less than a mile. So you might want to add a couple of extra minutes to your morning commute tomorrow morning before you make your way out the door. And it has been a cold night. We've been in the 30s since earlier this afternoon. We're wedged in with this cold air and temperatures just have not budged. And as we go throughout a lot of the overnight, we are just going to stay cold here. Just about everyone's still in the mid-30s. We have 35 in Farmville, 35 in Chesterfield. We're at 36 in Richmond. Mid-30s from New Kent County out towards Tappahannock. And First Alert Doppler radar has been pretty quiet tonight. You can see a good deal of cloud cover on this satellite picture. Some light precipitation farther up towards our north. We've seen just a few light showers up towards northern Spotsylvania County, but for the most part, that's up towards D.C. and Northern Virginia. We'll take a look at what to expect for your Friday and also look at the weekend forecast here in just a bit. Simone?
Megan, thank you. Tonight, the Chesterfield Chief of Police is addressing some misconduct within the force. It's regarding an officer that is now on administrative leave. In an email to the Chesterfield Bar Association obtained by NBC12, Commonwealth's attorney Stacey Davenport says the controversy involves Detective Robert Sprouse. On Facebook, Police Colonel Jeffrey Katz details an incident about a, quote, inappropriate and potentially illegal modification that an officer made to a public document in relation to a search warrant. We have asked Davenport and Chesterfield Police for comment, but have not heard back.
Well, happening tomorrow, the Biden administration will loosen federal mask-wearing guidelines. This following expected new guidance from the CDC. The change will mean most Americans will no longer be advised to wear masks in indoor public places. The CDC is expected to change to new metrics that will still consider caseloads, but also take into account hospitalizations and deaths. Now, that means a vast majority of Americans will no longer live in areas where masking is recommended based on current data.
More signs that we're moving in a good direction. New data from Johns Hopkins University says COVID cases have dropped 90% since mid-January. Daily cases are down to less than 80,000 compared to 802,000 daily cases. Hospitalizations from COVID are also falling. The Department of Health and Human Services reports about a third of the number of patients hospitalized last month.
Well, since the pandemic began, many of the things that we used to do in person and enjoy doing, like meetings, interviews, and even learning, can now all be done through a computer screen. Now, a telehealth company is using that same technology to bring COVID-19 testing to schools. The goal? To limit the risk of the virus spreading in the classroom. On your side tonight, AJ Nwoko joins us live now. So, AJ, you spoke with the company behind this new idea. So tell us how it works.
Yeah, the company is called Proven, and they believe that with using just a computer and your phone, they can walk you through a step-by-step virtual COVID-19 test with accurate results without you even ever having to leave your home. With mask mandates gone, school districts are relying more on mitigation efforts like testing to keep kids in the classroom.
Our goal is to have the least amount of people exposed.
And Peter Gallick with his company Proven is using telehealth to ensure COVID-19 tests are done accurately, all while remaining virtual.
Testing has come to the point where we can give you a kit that you can take home and we can watch you do it and walk you through it.
What we're able to do is do test to stay in school programs.
Here's how it works. Proven delivers bilingual test flyers with QR codes and rapid COVID tests to schools or businesses they've partnered with. From there, if a child or an adult is exposed, they can go home, scan the QR code, and a test proctor would be there to walk them through the test step by step to ensure that the result is recorded accurately.
On any given day, we can handle 3,000 calls in every 30 minutes.
Now, Proven says they've partnered with First Call and TestHere.com to bring those virtual testing programs to Virginia and nearly 70 schools, including Richmond Public Schools.
Richmond Public Schools, that's something that the kids there are doing 5 days worth of tests in a row when they enter this program. We're able to source and secure the over-the-counter tests. They're able to provide that proctoring, and we can really work together to roll that out to the schools and the communities that want to take advantage of this program.
Proven believes there are opportunities to expand beyond the pandemic.
You've got allergy testing that needs to be done. You've got vaccine verification. You've got COVID testing. Proven and First Call do that in a HIPAA compliant way that allows you to have all those records and get all that testing done at once.
If you would like these virtual COVID-19 test program to come to your school or business, we have all that information on how to do just that on our news app. That'll do it for now, live and on your side. AJ Nwoko, NBC12.
All right, some innovative stuff there. Thank you, AJ. New tonight, a settlement is reached in the civil suit against Richmond police after they tear gassed a crowd of demonstrators at the Robert E. Lee Monument back in 2020. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of 6 protesters who claimed the tear gas was administered unprovoked. But we're told the plaintiffs reached an agreement with the city earlier this month. Details on the settlement are limited, but we expect to learn more on July 1st.
New at 11, students at Fox Elementary could be back in the classroom within the next few weeks. RPS Superintendent Jason Camaris and Principal Daniela Jacobs met with community members to discuss possible sites for in-person learning. They're hoping Clark Springs Elementary will be available after spring break, but the school needs some work. In the meantime, some churches have opened up their doors to students. Camaris says it could be 2 years before students can step foot in the Hanover Avenue building.
Well, happening tomorrow, a vigil will be held in Prince George for 5-year-old Emmy Claire Schweitzer at Unity Baptist Church. Emmy sadly lost her life after the UTV she was riding on crashed last week. The vigil is happening at 5 p.m. and will honor Emmy and help support her family. Now, both fire and police are expected to be there to offer their support, as well as community members, friends, and family. Well, as warfare is unleashed across Ukraine, people all over the globe tonight are rallying to show their support. A closer look at their calls for peace straight ahead.
And after a crumbling condo killed almost 100 people, an agreement is reached among the engineer and the families of survivors. We've got new details on the Surfside condo settlement after the break.
Welcome back in. We do want to take you to a live look now at Kyiv, Ukraine, where it is just after 6:15 in the morning. And for more than 3 hours now, the capital city has been bombarded with Russian attacks. More than 100 Ukrainians have lost their lives already. The sun now rising on day 2 of a full-scale Russian invasion. And as we start to see more and more heartbreaking images and videos out of Ukraine, tonight thousands are showing their solidarity with a nation that's under attack. In D.C., outside of the St. Andrew Ukrainian Orthodox Cathedral, a sign with a simple plea read, "Pray for Ukraine." Many had been there since the first reports of Russian attacks started more than 24 hours ago. Demonstrators shared this video from early this morning when news of the invasion first broke. They showed up at the Russian embassy in Northwest Washington protesting as missiles were fired.
This should not happen in the 21st century. No country should experience this.
We know that there is nowhere to retreat. Nobody wants to live under authoritarian Russia, and we will all defend and do our utmost to preserve our independence and freedom.
A demonstrator painted the word murder in red paint on the sidewalk at the Russian embassy. Now, photos taken by Cronkite News shows a woman who was taken into federal custody. The Secret Service confirms officers arrested an unnamed person for defacing property. Well, meantime, all across the nation, more outpouring of support from New York to Chicago to Austin and Los Angeles. Americans taking to the streets to rally in support of Ukraine and for peace. Protesters unanimously denouncing the aggression by Russia. The U.S. and its allies universally condemned the attacks and imposed new rounds of crippling economic sanctions targeting Moscow. We'll, of course, continue to monitor any developments and bring them to you as we learn more.
Flight cancellations continue into day 2 as a winter storm moves across the country. According to FlightAware, more than 3,400 flights have been grounded today. We checked with Richmond International Airport. Only 4 flights there have been canceled, with 2 delays today. But nationwide, that winter storm is bringing snow, ice, and headaches to millions of Americans. That wintry weather hitting the central U.S. Now the Northeast is bracing for some similar conditions on Friday. Hunter Davis has more.
We're walking slow. I'm shuffling my feet quite a bit to avoid falling.
It's an icy scene across the central U.S. A steady stream of freezing rain and sleet began falling yesterday across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. An inch or 2 of sleet has accumulated in many of these areas, forcing hundreds of flight cancellations and making for a slippery commute.
I think from Oklahoma to now, I done ran to about 10 accidents. What it made me do, driving Miss Daisy real slow.
In Texas, the wintry mix caused several crashes and sent cars sliding across roadways. Drivers are urged to take it slow.
Everybody got their, F-250 sitting up high. They want to go flying by. This tank right here, all-wheel drive, and I still don't get out there and clown like that.
The storm will continue to impact the southern plains to the Midwest throughout the day, putting millions under winter weather alerts. Officials are asking people to help their neighbors.
Make sure that their walkways are clear, their porches are clear. They're more at risk of falls, and we want to make sure that they're able to get out safely.
This system is expected to shift east on Friday. Forecasters expect 6 inches or more of snow to fall across much of the region, with the potential for more ice. Parts of Massachusetts could see almost a foot of snow.
All right, Megan Wise joining us now. Megan, could we see any impacts from the storm here in central Virginia?
No wintry weather here expected, so good news there. If you are a warm weather fan, I think you'll enjoy tomorrow. We're taking the roller coaster ride back up tomorrow in the afternoon. We'll have temperatures in the 60s, but today has been a cold day and a rainy day, but tonight has been pretty quiet. We'll watch for a few more showers overnight. I'll show you the latest hour-by-hour forecast, but I do want to show you the visibility. We are going to be watching closely for some fog that could impact your morning commute tomorrow. As far as the weekend goes, if you do have any plans or would like to make some, we are looking dry both Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures, though, turning cooler. It'll actually be a little chilly Saturday, but overall the weekend is dry. And as we look ahead to next week, we've got a lot of sunshine in the 7-day forecast, so quiet weather pattern taking shape as we go into next week. Right now, though, temperatures have been in the mid-30s the last several hours. Now we're at 35 in Hanover, 35 New Kent County, into Chesterfield, back towards Farmville, West Point, 35 degrees. Here's a look at the visibility map. Not seeing limited visibility that's going to slow you down, but some of these numbers could go below 1 mile by your commute tomorrow morning. So just make sure you use some caution. There is a dense fog advisory back towards our west. Buckingham County is included in that. That goes until 10 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. So low visibility really expected in these areas. As far as the rain is concerned, it's really tapered down earlier this evening, and it's been mainly quiet since then. Good deal of cloud cover on the satellite picture, and you can see farther towards the north there is some some light precipitation. But as we go throughout to the overnights, we'll keep a small chance for a few showers to pop up. That would be light. Good deal of cloud cover otherwise. And as we go throughout the morning, it does look like we'll be left with a good deal of clouds. It won't be till the afternoon we'll start to see some sunshine. Temperatures, though, stay in the mid-30s overnight. We'll watch again for the patchy fog, and that will easily impact your commute. By 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll be in the low 40s, so still a little chilly. I'd suggest a warmer jacket as you make your way out the door, but I don't think you'll need it later in the afternoon. Clouds will start to break up. We'll be in the mid-60s. Winds pick up as well out of the southwest between about 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then as we look ahead to the weekend, we turn chilly on Saturday, mid-40s, partly sunny. Sunday, we warm up into the mid-50s, a little cooler, but take a look at all that sunshine as we go into next week. We're in the upper 40s Monday, mid-50s by Tuesday. Then we warm up into the low 60s by the middle of next week. We'll be right back after this break.
New tonight, a settlement is reached in the lawsuit surrounding the Surfside condo collapse in South Florida. The Champlain Towers South crumbled last June, killing 98 people. Today, we learned the law firm representing the condo association and its engineer agreed to pay an undisclosed amount to survivors and families of the victims. We're told the terms of the settlement will be shared in the coming days.
Well, so far so good for the 2022 jobs outlook in the U.S. Jobless claims fell to a 52-year low, dropping by 17,000 last week to 232,000. When adjusted for seasonal swings, it's the lowest that level has been since March of 1970.
Well, new tonight, the 2022 New York City Marathon will be returning at full capacity after the 2019 NYC Marathon set a world record with 53,627 finishers. The COVID-19 pandemic forced the marathon to cancel in 2020 and cut capacity in 2021. But this year, the race is on. It is set for November 6th, and organizers hope to return the race to its former standard. Runners will be required to show proof of vaccination in order to participate. The lottery drawing for racers is on March 30th.
All right, so this story is pretty cool. A Virginia high school basketball player finds a way to turn a blowout loss upside down. You got to check it out for yourself. Christchurch senior Evan Randolph went in the game's final moments with his team down by 40 points. Well, he says that he wanted to make a memorable moment for himself as a senior and that he used to be a cheerleader. So those backflips that you see right here, well, he said it's just like second nature to him. The teen's acrobatic bucket has gone viral, even nabbing an ESPN shout out. That's pretty impressive. Stick with us. We're back right after the break.
And just in tonight, an update from the Associated Press. The United Nations saying they will allocate $20 million to scale up humanitarian operations in Ukraine following the Russian invasion. Of course, we'll continue to monitor the latest developments out of Ukraine into the overnight hours. So far, more than 100 Ukrainian lives have been lost in the Russian attacks. Right now, it is at just about 6:30 in the morning in Kyiv. You can see the sun has not come up yet. As the sun rises for us here at home, we will of course update you on what happens. So be sure to join Sarah, Anthony, and the entire 12 News Today team starting at 4:30 a.m. local time, and you can count on them to bring you any updates.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight at 11. The Tonight Show is coming up next.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great night.
Good night.